Hi, this is attorney Louise Fiore with Aquabelly Law. Today we're going to talk about ICE, your rights, and how to maneuver if you are detained or if you encounter ICE and then subsequently be placed in removal proceedings. I want to start the video by saying something that most immigration defense attorneys probably are not going to agree with me, and that is not all ICE agents are bad. So I've been doing this for a long time. I have been in the immigration world when I first moved to the United States as an immigrant myself from Brazil, but also working within immigration law for over 15 years now, even before I was licensed with the state of Florida. I have worked a lot with ICE, I have worked a lot with CBP, I have worked a lot with USCIS, and obviously I have worked a lot with immigration judges and DHS as OPLA or trial attorneys on behalf of the government during removal proceedings. ICE is not a bad agency, in my opinion. Do we have bad agents? Yes. Has this administration and the higher ups in the HS allowed these bad agents to exude more of their racism, more of their stupidity, for a lack of a better word? Yes. Are the new hires being trained by those agents and almost being rewarded for exuding those same bad qualities? Yes. Do we have agents that have been ICE agents for over a decade who still don't understand that under INA 208, you can't FedEx your asylum application, which means you actually have to go to the border to apply for asylum? Yes. Do we still have those same agents that believe that only political asylum is a real asylum? Yes. However, the flip side of that is we have also agents that are careful. We have agents that prepare their cases methodically, who do their homework, who do their research, who figure out that if you were arrested for public intoxication but weren't convicted, then that's not an immigration crime, or that's not a crime for immigration purposes and not a basis to be able to deport you. We have agents that still believe in due process. We have agents that still understand the Constitution, who probably have read the Constitution in comparison to other agents that probably haven't, except for the Second Amendment. So it's not all bad. Let's start there. Let's stop this rhetoric that we must abolish ICE and all of ICE is bad. I don't think that that's fair, and I think that what we're doing is it's a disservice to the agents that are well trained and genuinely know how to do their job and take pride in their job. So that's number one. Now, let's go to the second part of this. With that being said, with the reality that there are good agents and bad agents, with the reality that bad agents, unfortunately, right now are being rewarded for bad behavior, what can you do? What does that mean to you? That means you need to know your rights. That is a huge part of this, okay? Don't hope that you're going to get a good agent that's going to explain your rights. But then don't also be angry when you get a bad agent that doesn't know how to explain your rights, and even if they did, wouldn't do it anyways. That's your job. And that's why I hope that after you hear this video, you get some idea about what your rights are. So, number one, what happens if you're encountered by ICE? Do you have to tell them your whole life story, how you came, when did you come, when did you get your visa, if you applied for a visa and got denied, if you were arrested in 1983 in Madrid, but those charges got dismissed? No, you don't. You should not say any of those things. The only real thing that when you encounter ICE, you need to provide is your name, your date of birth, and in some occasions, your country of origin. Other than that, the next thing that comes out of your mouth is, I'm not having any more discussions until my attorney is present. Please contact my attorney. If you already have an attorney, make sure that you give that agent your attorney's information so that they can contact your attorney, especially if you're in the process of being detained, okay? Within that same breath, this isn't so much as a right, but as something that you should implement, don't go ballistic, okay? I see these videos of people screaming to ICE agents, you're an officer of the Nazi regime, you're Officer Smith, you're a racist, you can't arrest me, you're just being racist, I have rights. Don't cause a scene. You're not doing yourself a service. And quite frankly, you're doing yourself a disservice because now you're belligerent. Now they can say, well, I felt threatened for my life, so I had to use force to subdue this subject, right? Don't put yourself in this position. I tell my kids this when they first started going through the process of getting their driver's license and learning how to drive. If you're ever stopped by a police officer and the police officer is writing you a ticket for running a stop sign, and you look around and you clearly see there was no stop sign, so you couldn't have run something that didn't exist, don't start fighting with that officer. Take your ticket, fight it in court. There's a time and a place to when to fight for things and when to make your arguments. With that officer that decided that an imaginary stop sign was run, that's not the officer you're going to win with. So that's another really important component to this. Know your rights, but be professional, be courteous, be respectful, be calm when articulating those rights, okay? Now let's move to the third part. Okay, you've been calm, you said your name, your date of birth, nobody asked about your country of origin, you didn't have to give it, you have been detained, you are now in processing, they are beginning to interrogate you. Again, I want to speak to my attorney. I'm not going to answer any questions until I speak to my attorney. Now they start filling out these paperwork, giving it to you, saying you need to sign here, you need to sign there. You know, the attorney can't help you. You're going to be detained for the next 30 years of your life, and ultimately we'll be able to deport you anyways. You should just sign your voluntary departure because there's nothing that anybody can do for you. I still want to speak to my attorney. I'm not signing anything until I speak with my attorney. That's the other tidbit of this. Law enforcement can lie to you. There has been a Supreme Court case from a while back that states that during an interrogation or during a detention, law enforcement is permitted to lie to you in order to get you to make some admissions or in the process of gathering information for their investigation. So they are permitted, as much as we may not like it, they are permitted to use these tactics. Don't fall for these tactics. Say, I want to speak to my attorney. If you don't have an attorney, I need to call my wife, my cousin, my aunt, my uncle, my mom, my dad, so that they can get in touch with an attorney. I'm not signing anything until my attorney has reviewed it. I'm not answering any questions unless my attorney is present. And that's it. Stop. That's your mantra. You don't have to be belligerent. You don't have to start screaming. You don't have to say, how dare you lie to me? I know my rights. I get to see a judge. I'm not going to be here for 30 years. Why? You're just being combative for the sake of being combative. It's not going to change your circumstance, okay? The other thing is, on the same subject of law enforcement being able to lie, ICE may contact you for an ICE check-in, either because you have lost your immigration case and you didn't file a timely appeal and now they want you to check in. They may even say, you can't bring anyone. You can't even bring your attorney. You must come by yourself at this time, at this location. No one's allowed to be with you. That's another lie. Whenever you are interacting with ICE and or in immigration court, you have the right to an attorney. Now, that right does not mean that the government will provide you an attorney or pay for your attorney. The rule is simple. You have the right to an attorney at your own cost. So again, if you get that call your attorney. Find an attorney prior to that appointment so that attorney can accompany you. Now, let's go a little bit further. You weren't belligerent. You didn't call Officer Smith a racist. You just gave your name, your date of birth. They detained you. They took you to processing. They began to interrogate you. You invoked the right to an attorney. They gave you forms for you to sign. You refused to sign based on the fact that you wanted to speak to an attorney and have that attorney review it. You've now had what we call a notice to appear issued and sent to immigration court. You're now in front of the immigration judge. This is your first hearing, what we call your first master hearing. The judge typically starts that hearing by, again, asking your name, your date of birth, your country of origin, your current address, and then they ask, do you have an attorney? You don't have an attorney yet. You say, no, Your Honor, I don't have an attorney, but I am in the process of securing one. I would greatly appreciate if you could reset this hearing in order for me to have more time to secure an attorney. Why is that important? Because now you're in court. The government has charged you with being deportable, removable. In other words, you can be sent back to your country. Anything you say during those hearings can be used against you. Anything you begin to explain can then be a basis for later on, if your testimony is slightly different, for a credibility issue. Saying, well, you said you came to the border in February of 2023 when you were at your first hearing, but now that you have your attorney present, you're saying you came through the border in March of 2024. Which one is it? Were you lying then? Are you lying now? Your credibility is now undercut. And that is a big thing in immigration court, because immigration court, you, the respondent, is the biggest witness. You are the person that's going to make or break your case. Your credibility is key. So it is important that during that first hearing, you don't make more comments or more statements than what is asked of you, and that you invoke the right to have an attorney present if one is not there for you. The other thing with that statement is, some judges, not all, but just like ICE, there's some good judges and there's some bad judges, just like there's some good ICE agents and some bad ICE agents. Some judges will not ask you if you would like more time to obtain an attorney. Some judges won't even ask you if you have an attorney present. They just see that you don't and they go on as if nothing happened. That is your time to exercise your knowledge of your rights and say, Your Honor, I'm in the process of obtaining an attorney. I haven't yet. Can I please have more time? So those are just some basic rights that you have. Again, keep calm. Don't continue to spew the rhetoric that every ICE agent is bad, every immigration judge is bad, everyone dealing with immigration as it relates to this government is bad. Yes, there are a lot of bad, but there's also some really, really good people that we want to work with and we want to be knowledgeable and respectful towards. With that being said, if you have any questions, always give us a call.